welcome. And welcome to another installment of Nightshift, live from Corfu, with me Thomas Haas, Adrian Mavel, and Wayne Fenton. So thank you very much. First I want to say thank you to everybody who watched yesterday and sent their comments and of course questions in. And yeah, good evening guys. Hello.
Lovely to see you again. It's wonderful we're back on the night shift, isn't it?
It is. Hello, everyone. How are we all?
I'm fine, thank you. And your good self?
Oh, yes, very good.
And Thomas, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. Still buzzing from last night as yourself, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice kickoff. Nice first show. I'm really pleased with what's happened. I'm really pleased that so many people took part and giving us a nice feedback.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and off we kick. And as usual, the first we're going on is with local news, and that goes to Wayne.
Oh, it's coming to me. All right, okay. Fabulous. Okay. Just reading through the local press today, and apparently we were talking about this last night, actually, weren't we, Adrian? About the airport.
Oh, yes, we were, funnily enough. Yes, we did.
And it came up in the local news today that they're expanding it. Putting in a new terminal and new food hall and all
fabulous.
That sort of thing.
That sounds good.
An extra 10,000 square metres.
Good heavens. That's going to be transformational, isn't it?
That's going to be huge.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently there's going to be a new car park as well.
Well, that's handy because it's a little bit squeezed at the moment. And I'm rather pleased to hear about your saying about the expanding of the food hall. That sounds good to me.
There's not much there, is there?
No.
You're not spoilt for choice, really, are
you? No. And it's sometimes nice to have a tasty hot snack just before you're about to board a late-night flight, because when you get to the other end of your destination, sometimes there is hardly anything open. So
that's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we always seem to be talking about food, don't we, Wayne? Somehow we usually get round there. I don't know how we manage it.
Well, you kicked it off again, haven't you? You kicked off the food.
These things jump at me. They highlight, yes. Always getting hungry, especially in this chilly weather. How are you, Thomas? Are you keeping well with the weather?
I'm all right, I have to say. There's no. Today was a beautiful day. Standing up and seeing the sunshine after all the unweather, also all the bad weather we had, was quite refreshing, to be honest.
Yes, yeah. So, did they say when this was going to be happening at the airport? Or?
No, actually, it was just that it had been approved. It's all been approved, so there's new plans afoot for the airport at Corfu.
Well, that's very positive and something good to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Great.
The other thing was that they're putting in some new trees in Corfu town. Apparently they're taking up some of the old ones and putting in new ones.
Okay, always good that they're planting trees.
Yeah.
Wow, how exciting.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It adds a certain ambience to the place, I think. There's an avenue of trees at the moment in Corfu town. It's absolutely delightful.
Surely it wouldn't be an avenue if it didn't have trees.
Guys, let me go back quickly.
Yeah, go on.
Airport, sorry.
Yes.
Trees, airport. What does this mean for Corfu now? Are they getting winter flights?
Well,
or does this have nothing to do with it?
I'm not sure, Thomas, to be honest.
I think that's an additional thing, isn't it?
That's probably an additional thing, yes. But, I mean, it's good news for the airport that it's going to have a bigger terminal or an extra terminal, I think they're thinking about doing. They're also doing something about the drainage as well.
Okay, yeah, I know what they mean with drainage. Yeah, it can get very tricky if it's a lot of rain. What we had, you can have a problem with the cars. I certainly had once a problem driving in the rain. The car just stopped. So many puddles, so deep.
Really?
It's how deep they are. Yeah.
Wow.
So drainage is for sure good. But Aid mentioned something about the new radar system.
I did yesterday. That's what someone was telling me. They were hoping to put in this new sophisticated all-weather radar landing system that most airports have these days. But sadly, for whatever reason, Corfu has been bereft. They reckon that if they installed this sophisticated equipment, then there'd be many more flights landing and taking off in rather adverse weather conditions. At the moment, as I understand it, only Greek pilots, Hellenic pilots who have local knowledge of the airport, its runway, are able to safely fly in. I think a lot of other non-Greek pilots are a little bit reticent to do so.
Okay.
It has its own microclimate, I think, the airport as well, and it's a very difficult ascent. It's not an easy airport to land and take off from.
Oh, it's the short runway, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it has its own weather system as well. So I think all in all, if we do get some more sophisticated radar system in the airport, then we definitely will have full blown scheduled flights throughout the winter months. And if they're going to increase the terminal capacity, then happy days. That's even better.
That is, yeah.
It all sounds good.
That does.
So and when are this work is starting now? So is there any disruptions? Have you heard anything there will be mega disruptions to the airport, or everything carries on as normal?
No, as I say, all I've read is that it's been approved for them to go ahead and do it.
So
yeah.
when, and we don't know.
No. Sorry about that.
If there's anybody
all
out
right.
there listening who does know, please let us know.
Yeah, please let us know. That would be great. Yeah.
Cool. Back to your trees. So what are the
Well,
new trees are being planted in Corfu town?
Yes, apparently they're replacing the old ones and putting in new ones. Starting off, what was the name of the street? It was a street name, but going on to San Rocco Square and different places around Corfu. So.
Was there a reason they gave for wanting to remove the existing trees?
Only that the new ones are obviously. It was a bit vague, to be honest. All it said was that the trees are being replaced so that the new ones would have time to grow or something,
Okay.
which is a bit But you say what avenues? Avenues are
Yes.
have to have trees to
Really?
be an avenue.
I
Does it not?
Theoretically, yes.
Am I wrong?
No, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure, though, I have seen roads that are called avenues that don't have a tree in them. I don't mean here in Corfu. I mean elsewhere.
No.
But that's a good point. But there is an avenue in Corfu leading from St. Rocco Square down to the obelisk that is absolutely beautiful. I love that road.
Yeah. Did we find a bridge there that's kind of hidden away? Is that right? Is that the one?
Ooh, don't know about that.
All right. Okay.
I can't remember that.
Okay. But that was about all that was coming out of the news today. Really, pretty slow news day, unless you're a.
I mean, that's no good news. It's
Yeah.
not a lot of news, but as long as there's nothing bad, I think it's good news.
No.
So for
No bad news is good news. Definitely.
it's good
Yes.
news.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for everybody else who would love to join this conversation, you can write into nightshift@inbox.com. If you want to check out news stories relating to the beautiful island of Corfu, wherever you are, you can log on to the Facebook page of Anime Rossi, Corfu News. So when you go onto Facebook, look, type in Corfu News, and it will pop up. And there is, for a month now, an English-speaking Facebook page from the local newspaper.
Yep.
So let's move on. This is now the local stuff. When we carry on talking about the island anyway more in detail, we have our modules here. When we are talking about handmade stuff in Corfu, we're having our Daily Moan in a minute, the What's Coming Up guide with Wayne. Then we also have an animal call out for a home. Yes, and our daily topic. So daily topic, what we have today, this will be after the international, because I think it's not just one country at the moment who is celebrating. I think there is a lot of different countries celebrating for the latest news what broke 3 hours ago, and that's that President Mugabe finally resigned.
Yes, that's a turn up for the books, perhaps, because it looked a little bit unsure 12 hours ago. He'd been there for 37 years, apparently.
37 years.
It's a very long-serving presidency.
Yes. Didn't he start off as Prime Minister, though?
I don't know. Did he? He might have done. I can't remember.
He didn't actually become president until
That's possibly
later. 1980 he came into,
That's right,
into
yes.
power, and he was Prime Minister to begin with, and then later on he decided that he didn't want to be Prime Minister anymore. He wanted to be President.
Yeah.
So he changed the constitution.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's all changed in Zimbabwe. Must be unsettled times for the people there.
although they're out in the street celebrating.
Yes, I hear.
So I mean,
Yes,
they're not that unsettled by it.
No, but you never know, do you? You know,
Well,
there must be...
okay, Adrian, quick question. I mean, for all of us, you must have experienced the most news coming out of this country, because the guy was quite long in power.
Yeah, 37 years. It was, Zimbabwe a few years ago was known as the fruit basket of Africa. He actually, in his early days as president, he was feted and congratulated around the world because Zimbabwe was incredibly productive. You may remember they were jetting beans to English shops, for instance. And he was held up as a perfect example of a really good Marxist economy. And at that time, throughout the 80s, 90s, there weren't many such places that could say that. I don't exactly know what went wrong or when exactly things went wrong, but as Wayne has alluded to, I think power shifted a bit and it became a little bit less of a democracy. There's been all sorts of stories about the opposition and various attempts on people's lives and all that. And in more recent times, there was a lot of criticism of his second wife, Grace, became known as Gucci Grace. I think that didn't go down very well with the population in Zimbabwe. She spent more time buying her designer handbags than worrying about the people in the country. But it's all ended rather quickly, hasn't it, I think?
Well, surely it was on the cards for a little while. I mean,
maybe. I don't know. A few weeks back, there wasn't much. I wasn't picking up anything. I mean, from where I get, I'm not on the ground, obviously. No. But it did come as a little bit of a surprise. It all seemed to happen very quickly after the deputy lost his job. And the man who replaced him was rumoured to be getting ready for Mr. Mugabe's seat. But it was also rumoured that Mr. Mugabe was steering his wife, Grace, into the job.
Yeah.
And I think I'd read, I don't know whether this is true, that the army generals were not very happy about that at all. And hence a sort of rather gentlemanly coup, should I say, started. But it has taken, I don't know, about 3 days or so. But shattering news tonight is President Mugabe has resigned.
Does that mean he's going to be impeached?
That process has started. It can take 2 months or more. There was some debate as to which element of the impeachment they were going to use against him, and I, at this moment, don't know what that is. But I think tomorrow, every day is a different day, especially now in Zimbabwe, so I think we'll just have to see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it is a significant move that he has resigned.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that the people were celebrating on the streets, really, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yes, I mean, it's brilliant. I watched it live.
You watched it
live this afternoon, guys,
wow.
and the news broke, and the people started flogging out of work,
That's a good
from
point,
everywhere. The journalists had really problems moving around, and everybody was screaming, "New Zimbabwe, new Zimbabwe."
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, and I think it's funny. Just a couple of months ago, everything seems cozy. He had his parade. Grace went to South Africa for a shopping trip and nearly got arrested.
Really?
Yeah, everything seemed perfect, and there were like Adrian said, no sign of getting rid of him, and no chance.
Just a couple of days ago, when the army had made their move, and there was a kind of military coup, it appeared there were very few people coming out on the streets. There's a good picture of just a couple of people walking past a tank, but I think the mood was great caution. But as Thomas has said, it's all happened today, and I suppose they were waiting to hear that he's actually resigned before they
celebrated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or make a demonstrative move, either way.
I mean, wasn't there a point when Zimbabwe had a real financial problem? I mean,
it's huge inflation. It did a few years ago. Hyper, I think 5,000%. I think 1 year. It was horrific.
That's terrible.
I think the nation's coffers are not that robust at the moment, and maybe that's another factor behind the army's move. They have assured everybody that they want to return to democracy as soon as possible, and I'm sure there's every indication that might be the case.
I mean, I was reading that he did bring in some good things as well.
Yes, it's not all bad.
I mean, education, for instance, Zimbabwe has one of the highest education rates in Africa.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was one of the good things that he did. But I'm sure there's other things that we don't know about.
No, absolutely. And I'm sure these things will trickle out.
I'm sure they'll come out in the fullness of time. So, yeah, interesting day for Zimbabwe then.
Very, and Africa.
And Africa indeed,
Yes.
yeah.
And it'd be interesting to see the relationship now moving forward between Zimbabwe and South Africa, because there has been this very close connection, and that's partly due to the fact that there was a good working relationship between President Zuma of South Africa and Mr. Mugabe. Of course, everything's in a melting pot now.
Yeah. So, who do you think is going to take over?
Oh, I wouldn't like to put any money on that. I really don't know. Because we have another deputy who's come forward, but there's also the leader of the opposition, Morgan Tsvangirai, who has been quiet in the background. I don't know whether he's going to come back. I think he's in exile at the moment, I believe.
I thought didn't he share power for a little while with President Mugabe?
There was a kind of power-sharing executive committee, that's right, a few years back, but I think they fell out. And certainly it went wrong anyway, and there were a couple of attempts on Morgan Tsvangirai's life.
Wow.
I believe, actually, his wife was killed.
That's terrible.
Yes, it's all been very turbulent times for Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but very, very good to watch. I have to say, it has been a wow. I didn't expect it. I just made dinner. I just sat down for dinner, switched the television on, and breaking news, and Mugabe resigned. And with that, the whole country erupted. Within minutes, streets are full with people with flags, with banners, celebrating. So I think there will be a heavy celebration going down tonight.
Yeah,
There'll be a few hangovers tonight. Tomorrow morning there'll be a few hangovers.
I think they'll be getting the moonshine out.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I don't think they will stop celebrating for a week. But I think internationally speaking, it's fantastic news.
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
And significant. Very significant.
Very.
Especially when you think about the relation Britain had with Zimbabwe over the last couple of years. Were not the best.
No.
I think he was very upset with Tony Blair,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. What was this about, Aid?
I can't remember that, but a lot of people are upset about Tony Blair for something or other. Possibly because Tony Blair was involved in some spurious business deal in another African country, Equatorial Guinea, I believe, when he was involved with diamonds and mineral rights. He got into a spat, actually, with some Israeli billionaire and a couple of mining giant powerhouse companies. It's all gone rather funny and rather quiet on that front. It was George Soros who spilled the beans about that one. I think there's some reason why Mr. Mugabe was unhappy with Tony Blair's meddling in Africa, I think. So let's all hope that there can be peace and serenity on the streets of Harare tonight and elsewhere in Zimbabwe. While we're on the subject of long terms, Mr. Mugabe had 37 years as president, which to most people is quite a long stint, isn't it?
That is a long stint, yeah.
And I'll just quickly mention, on a lighter side of politics, a lady who's only been in office for about 3.5 weeks. And this is the new Prime Minister of New Zealand. Her name is Jacinda Ardern. And I'm just going to tell you a little amusing story about her. She was a researcher for a previous Prime Minister of New Zealand called Helen Clark. And she worked as a researcher, would you believe, in the early noughties for Tony Blair. So we're back to Mr. Blair again.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm mentioning Jacinda Ardern at this precise moment is that it's a rather nice little story. The first night of office, when she was in the official residence with her husband, who I believe is a slight TV star. I can't remember now what he presents. His fortes in something. Anyway, they were alone for the first night in their government house, and she didn't want to cook. Well, who would after your first day as Prime Minister?
No,
so
not.
her husband made a phone call to the local Indian takeaway, I think it was, and they ordered a curry, or curry should I say. And they waited and waited and waited for this curry, and do you know what? It never turned up. So they were rather disappointed. I think they ended up having beans on toast or something rather unimaginative. The next day, her husband thought he'd go and see what went wrong, because it was his favourite curry house. And to his absolute astonishment, the man remembered taking the order, but they didn't deliver it because they thought it was a joke. They all said, what Prime Minister would order a takeaway curry from Government House? It was unheard of. So, I don't know, happens to us all, doesn't it? We can all get let down by that dodgy or errant takeaway curry that never arrives. I'm sure we've all been there at some point or other. But it even happened to the Prime Minister of New Zealand.
Wow.
So there you go. I hope they had a free curry to make up the next night.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, I do too.
With
I don't know the
poppadoms
answer to that
and-
story.
Back to food again. You
Yeah,
know
what
what
we
I
are.
just saw
Food.
the same.
Obviously, I'm hungry.
Oh no!
Oh my.
Wow, we're back to food.
Well, we are. I was
Well,
thinking-
no, I'll
I'm just
move it
thinking
forward.
poppadoms
Another
and-
little piece
oh,
of interesting...
lime chutney.
Oh, mango chutney's nice.
Yeah, I like my lime chutney. Yeah.
Sticking with offbeat international news, here's another little snippet that came in today or yesterday. I think you may well have read it in your newspaper or TV provider. And that was about the British comic actor Sacha Baron Cohen, who, rather surprisingly and rather lovely, offered to pay the fines of the 6 Czech tourists who, in Kazakhstan, were recreating Sacha Baron Cohen's alter ego as in Borat. And they were sporting their mankinis in the middle of the city in Kazakhstan.
Right.
And the local authorities weren't too amused about that and slapped them £51 or $67 fines. And
Right.
Mr. Cohen has very kindly offered to reimburse the 6 Czech gentlemen.
That's really
I thought
good.
that was rather a nice touch.
That's nice.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Good on you, Sasha.
When was the last time you wore your mankini?
Oh, now I
Mankini,
can't possibly
right.
tell you that answer on live on air, but I can tell you I know a man who had. Because
I think I got a picture here.
Oh, brilliant!
no, I have to admit I haven't ever really worn a mankini, but I do know a man who did, actually a few years, on this very island, and I have got photographs to prove it, although I wouldn't possibly... He was staying with his wife and family, and there's a photograph on a balcony. Yes, I know, looked absolutely dreadful, and I personally would never be seen dead, I don't think, in a mankini. Thank you very much. I haven't got the physique to carry it off, for goodness sake. Good Lord.
I don't think anybody's got the physique to carry it off, have they?
Possibly not. I don't know. I don't know much about
Do you know anybody
mankinis.
that's worn a mankini, Thomas?
No, luckily enough not.
Would you disassociate yourself with somebody that has?
I mean, who are we talking about?
Sacha Baron Cohen, the guy that was Borat or Ali G, British
okay.
comedian.
Yeah.
He's caused a bit
yeah.
of controversy wherever he's gone around the globe, actually. But I thought it was a nice touch that he sort of
Paid the
took some
fine.
responsibility for that. That's the point.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That is good.
So, and how much did he pay in total?
300, just over £300.
Oh, that's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, must well worth it. £300 well spent.
Well, I suppose it cements his
Well,
reputation a bit.
Exactly, well, for him it's for sure nice advertising,
Yeah, I mean,
public relations, perfect.
Yes.
he has kind of made the mankini his own, hasn't he?
Yes, I haven't seen too many others in them, no. That is true.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'd ever be caught dead wearing a mankini. I don't think so.
Not even for a part, perhaps, in a certain play?
No.
No.
No, you're all right. Thanks very much. I think I'll give it a miss. I think actually the audience will give it a miss as well.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. I don't think you'll find me in a mankini, unfortunately.
Well, me too. I have to say snap on that one.
I have to say I have worn a thong though, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Would you like to go a little bit further on
No,
this?
not really.
Thanks for that image.
Yeah, that's okay. It was leopard print. Oh.
God, we're broadcasting at night.
It was a long time ago. I was
A long time
I was
ago,
a lot, I don't know, a lot fitter then, I suppose.
Okay.
Somebody's got a photograph of it somewhere.
Have they really?
Or somebody's got one. Yeah.
Now, if you're listening to this at home, please don't hesitate to send it in. We'd love to have a look.
Oh dear. Yes.
You love to have a look.
Okay, all right. Just curiosity's sake, of course, you know.
Oh, what is the royal we?
Royal we.
Yeah, maybe it was actually. I was thinking for the benefit of the studio. Oh, and the folks at home, of course.
For the benefit of the studio. Okay.
Fab.
All right, guys. So that's it with World. Anything else you would like to talk? Anything else?
Well,
You guys,
No,
what news? I
it's
got
all-
mine with Zimbabwe. I'm very happy with that. I'm so happy he's finally gone. People are free and they can start to build a new Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
You had some information about New Zealand. So
Yes.
and
Which he's done.
yeah, and Wayne were able to tell his stories about the Mankini.
I did. I got my story in about the Mankini, which is lovely.
So should we move on to the
Yes.
next thing? And this is the Daily Moment. I chose something very special today. I mean, you guys had a quick look earlier, so let me code this up for the viewers.
Go on then.
Okay.
Okay, one second.
We're on
I found
tenterhooks
it-
here.
I found it very funny. So one second.
Okay.
And here we go.
Ah.
You guys see that?
Yep.
Yes. Oh, yes. Very interesting, strange story, this one. Thomas, tell us about it.
I found that. You know what? If I could, I have the small screen here and I can't read it. Can you read it?
Well, not without my glasses. But yeah, I know it's about.
It's about an elderly guy who
Yeah.
was in California, found 80-year-old man, whitely bearded, next to a bridge in California, found dead, and then DNA analysis,
Yeah.
were ordered to clarify his identity, and it came out to be the DNA from Elvis Aaron Presley.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
So
That
if you
is-
look at the pictures, this is the pictures that they put with this news report on, and the text below, if the viewers can read it, the text below is exactly what they was writing at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I know there were a lot of conspiracy going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it a little bit. There were a lot
Okay.
of conspiracy going on about he is still alive. People saw him. So since 1977, I think, when he died.
Yes.
Yeah, until now there were countless sightings of
Yes, that's
Elvis
true.
in different jobs. So last year, this happened last year now, yeah, and it's just emerging on the news again. That
Yeah, I
article,
mean-
and all of a sudden,
That's 40 years ago.
that was 40 years ago. All these sightings. So there's so many people out there probably saying, "Hey, I told you it was him."
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think is going to make all those Elvis impersonators feel? They're going to feel a little bit funny, aren't they? Maybe. If that's so, if this
I
story
mean,
is really so.
if the story is true, but I
Yeah,
think
but
that's
if-
one of what I want to get on with it is fake news.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm for sure this news article is for sure not true. If this would be true, it would be blasted all over BBC, CNN,
Oh, God,
Fox,
yeah.
and so on.
It
Yeah.
would.
But it is on social media.
Ah. Are you able to put that photograph up again, Thomas?
Okay, cool. 1 second.
I was just going to point something out.
Okay.
Oh.
I
Do you
just
think-
put up the answer what came out then allegedly from the FBI.
Yeah. Oh,
But
from the
okay,
FBI.
have a look at the picture. When you look at it, I mean, it's not a very good picture at first place. But come on.
Well, surely that's a photoshopped
It does.
picture.
Yeah. I'm a bit concerned about his left cheek. It doesn't look quite right to me.
Exactly. This is the things, you know. People get carried away. They read this article and without looking further, they just carried away, and news spreads. They start sharing it. They start posting that, or reposting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, tweeting it and Facebooking it, and so on and so on, and that starts circulating. And so, people with the conspiracy, he never died. He was hiding. No, get a little hope and say, okay, I was right.
Yeah.
Also, if you tell him, hey mate, no, he is dead. He died 1977. That's a joke. That's fake news.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still won't believe you. So it shows you again at the moment it hits the screen or the computer and it's out there.
Well, that's,
People can't make a difference anymore. Can't see what's real, what's not.
it's like a genie, isn't it? You can't put the cork back into the bottle once it's let out. People start commentating on it and saying, you know, oh yes, no, this is absolutely true, and you think, well, have you checked your facts? Have you checked that this is completely true? I mean,
Exactly.
I was quite astonished the other day that apparently Donald Trump has lifted the ban on trophies,
Yeah, trophy hunting.
yes, yes.
elephant
I
trophies
saw
from
that.
Africa. And I thought, at first, oh no, that can't be true. That can't be true. And then it it came out, and I saw it on different news sources, and I thought, it is true, and that's extraordinary.
One image that sticks in my head on this very subject was an image, a photograph that was on Twitter, and it was put on by Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., from him doing a hunt in Africa. And it's, to my mind, the most appalling photograph of him with a beaming, smiling face. I don't wish the man any ill will whatsoever. I just have a problem with the subject matter of the photograph. And that was, there he is, beaming hunter, very successful, smile on his face, but he's holding the complete remnants of an elephant's tail that had been hacked off, as if that is some prized trophy. I'm really struggling, I do apologise for saying this, but I'm really struggling to find out how that could be such a trophy, because surely it's much better as a trophy attached to the living animal, because surely we could all agree that an elephant is one of the most amazing beasts on this planet.
Yeah.
And I read something very disturbing recently, that just in one country alone, which was Zambia, which has had in the past a very healthy elephant population, in the last 4 years, that's between 2013 and 2017, the elephant population of Zambia has decreased by a staggering over 30%. Well, doesn't take much to do the maths to work out that within 10 years they'll be all gone.
Yeah.
Mr. Trump Jr., what have you got to say about that? Please let us know. I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, that's terrible. But I mean, going back to fake news and all that sort of thing. I mean, can you really not see through it sometimes? I mean, is it
probably?
Is it really that believable in some ways? I mean,
I don't know. Maybe it's not that apparent at first. For instance, let me give you an example. When it was mentioned in the media, big storm in America, some few months back, that Facebook might have been instrumental in swinging the election Mr. Trump's way by supplying Russian information and all the rest of it. Mr. Zuckerberg was categorically, oh no, that didn't happen. No, there's no effect. Facebook has had no effect on the American election whatsoever. Well, a few months later, he's had to change his tune, and I'm sure the man was quite embarrassed. It was a genuine mistake on Mr. Zuckerberg's part. But he's had to admit that possibly up to 150 million posts were read by 150 million people in America.
Wow.
And it turns out that these were, dare I say, fake news items, mostly from Russia.
Do you think it's an instrument for some political agenda for some people?
I think it can be used, like most things can be used in the wrong way as well as they can be in a good way. I think it is more difficult than we might think, sitting around here talking now, to disseminate fake news. I mean, Thomas has highlighted a good example there that we can probably all agree on. But I think, when you're trolling through millions or trillions of pieces of information, it's going to be quite a tough one to suss all that out.
No, it's the explanation they wrote with it. The FBI released a statement saying, yes, Elvis and Presley were part of a witness protection program, but voluntarily. Yeah, he met earlier President Nixon and became good friend, so the report says, and he asked him for a favor. He had enough of his fame, of all his stress, yeah, and Nixon organized for him, the report said, to come into the witness protection program, and just disappeared and lived his life for the last 40 years as Joe Bloggs. No?
Or Jesse.
Or Jesse, exactly. Jesse was his name. So, wow, to the extent they go in, complicate the story.
Yeah.
The trouble, the hassle they get into.
And
it's not just written in 5 minutes. That's something, somebody sat down and really thought about it and put it down, bothered with the images.
Yeah.
And then put this up. So what reason is behind that? What is in mind of somebody doing that?
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? I mean, what's it going to cause? What kind of reaction does it cause to the millions of Elvis fans that are out there that, obviously grieved when he passed away?
Yeah, especially for his family.
Yeah, exactly.
When this stuff comes up constantly, is constantly going, wow. Man, okay, how to identify? You said how can you identify
Yes.
fake news?
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Difficult.
it is a very difficult one, but one way of doing is looking at mainstream media. The mainstream media, mainstream news outlets.
Check your facts.
Check your facts. Check. You know, Reuters. Reuters is really one of the outlets who vigorously checks before they publish or before they release anything. Okay, they're not always getting it right, but okay, that's the nature of the job. You can't blame them for that.
No, of course not. I mean, that is the nature of most things anyway, isn't it? I mean,
exactly. That's
you have to check your facts before you actually make a comment on it. But that's the thing, most people don't check their facts before they start commenting on these things and sharing these things. And you kind of think, well, why don't you? Is it because it's infuriated you so much that the fake news has infuriated you, so that therefore you need to make a comment about it and then share it and tell all your friends, and then your friends then start getting infuriated about it? And maybe that's the point of the people putting the fake news out there.
Maybe.
There is sometimes a hidden agenda there, maybe.
Yes, quite often.
yeah. But what shocks me most is how many people actually believe that.
Yes, exactly.
It's unbelievable that some people are really. They think that's real. I've been reading that on the net. Oh yeah, that happened. And doesn't matter if you put proof in front of them. They still say, okay, who are you? I read it on the internet on that web page.
Yes.
Hey, hello. Everybody can throw a web page up and write something. Doesn't mean it's true. But it's. I don't know how to say it's just lack of education or common sense, or I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, some obviously people have their own opinions about things, so they're more swayed towards one way or another. Maybe. I mean, you could argue that, as I say, there are people there that want to sway you in that direction anyway. So therefore, if they put these things out there and then people jump on board, then they're going to be swayed anyway.
True.
Yeah.
Yes, but what I realized, some are really so desperate to believe certain things, or they want certain things to be
true
in a way that they believe anything.
Yeah.
As long as it fits with them, what they believe, they really don't care if it's false or true. I think there we have a big problem in society nowadays.
Do you think we should be? I mean, there are. I read somewhere that there was an app that somebody had developed that actually tells you whether the person's telling a true story or a false story.
Yes.
It was used by a journalist wanted to.
Not long ago. Not long ago. So you can use it while you interview, and this will check your facts instantly.
Yeah.
And you can catch them out immediately, throughout an interview.
There was they showed an example actually of Prime Minister May doing a speech in Parliament, and they were checking the facts against it at the time.
Good heavens.
And say, well, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Oh dear.
And the journalist that was saying about this was saying, oh, I really want this during an interview because it makes their life a lot easier to check the facts straight away. Yeah. So maybe there could be an end to fake news. Could be an end. Let's hope. Because I don't believe that you should have that kind of thing out there.
Absolutely not, no. If any of our viewers and listeners have any examples of fake news, please don't hesitate to share them with us. We'd love to see them or hear about them.
Yeah, and whether we can tell whether they're fake or
exactly. We can run a little competition. Oh,
the fake news stories of the day.
Yes. Fake news story of the day. Yes.
Oh, excellent. So that's the fake news. that was one thing we just needed to moan about and get out and make
Have a
people
bit of a
aware.
moan.
Come on, check your facts and read twice.
Yep.
Not and don't share if you're not sure. It's wow. Well, all right. So, Adrian.
Hello.
Yesterday's show, we got a couple of
Yes.
remarks and things regarding something you said
Yes.
concerning depression.
I
And we
did.
we wanna put something straight here, aren't we?
Yes, I would like to put something on the record. Maybe I felt after the show that maybe I was a little bit flippant, perhaps, or irreverent in my mentioning very hastily about depression. I know it was in relation to myself, but I just wanted to make the point that actually depression is a very, very serious illness which can affect many millions of people. It has been estimated, depending on who you listen to, that between 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 of the UK population has at some point in their lives suffered from a mental illness, most of which is classed as depression. I want to make the point that when I'm talking about depression, I mean clinical depression. I mean real depression. We're not talking about, it's been a bad day and it's raining again and I'm depressed with the weather, or I'm depressed I didn't get promoted at work, or I'm depressed that my favourite football team lost. That's not depression. That's you're a bit sad, you're a bit mucked
It's
off.
an emotion.
It's a very deep-seated thing,
Yeah.
and we all have our own experiences, I know, in this room of depression in the past, and it's a very, very serious thing. And I think on that subject, if you listening and seeing this at home have any views or any experiences you would like to share with us about depression, please don't hesitate to come forward with them. Organisations such as the Samaritans do a fantastic job around the globe in trying to prevent people from doing the awful thing of suicide, and it's a very tough job trying to talk someone out of suicide, and it's even tougher when you're the person contemplating suicidal thoughts. It's pretty deep and bad. There's many good ways and many good treatments. It's one of those things, it's horses for courses. One treatment might suit many people, but it won't suit a whole load of others. You really do need specialist advice and help. One thing that does help most people is friendship, having someone to reach out to. It's a cliche to say there are a lot of very lonely people out there, but actually it's true. And as the world goes forward in a speedier fashion with modern technology and all the rest of it, perhaps, just perhaps, even though we have all these wonderful levels of communication open to us, just perhaps there might be more lonely people in the world than perhaps there were. So we will try and do our little bit here at Studio Kakira to try and smash through the clouds of depression, and we will take seriously anyone's comments or thoughts about depression and try and help in any way we possibly can. I just wanted to make the point that I didn't want it to come across that I was just being flippant about something that is so serious.
Well said.
Well said, man. Well said.
Yeah,
well done.
well said.
One question I have there, quick for you, Ed. Or both of you actually, no?
Mhm.
You think the symptom of depression, yeah, in the last 2 decades, did it get worse or
That's a good question, Thomas. That's a very good question. Hard to answer, really, isn't it?
Mm.
We might think it possibly has, but then, of course, we could also argue that it's been better reported.
Yeah, better diagnosed.
Undiagnosed, yes.
Yeah.
Perhaps one thing we can say, I think with some surety, that back in the 60s, 70s, possibly early 80s, such a notion wasn't really on the topic of conversation. It wasn't really in people's consciousness.
Not
as
at all,
such.
no, not really. I mean, I suppose as it's become more famous, people have actually come forward and said,
Yes.
I suffered from depression at some point. Then it gives other people the courage to come forward and
Very
say,
important, isn't it?
I'm suffering from depression or whatever, and maybe that's the reason that it's become easier.
With depression, the hardest step possibly is that very first step
It is
to
the first step.
reach out.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And often when you are suffering from deep depression, you, the sufferer, aren't actually aware that you're suffering.
That's very true. That is very true. Yeah.
Good, that's another thing. Most people are not aware they're suffering from depression.
No.
But thinking back now to decades, it was not as popularized. Popularized? How you say?
Publicized.
Publicized, thank you.
Yeah. That's okay.
Publicized, and it's nowadays. Why is that?
Well,
what changed? I mean, nothing changed. It's well.
Maybe there's a stigma that's gone. I think back in the 60s, 70s there was a stigma.
There was, yeah. And it was like, just get on with it. It was more of a just get on with it. Sorry?
Frowned upon, or
yes, I suppose so.
You keep them away. They don't want to show these people off. Or I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose it was more of a keep it under the rug, kind of
brush it under the carpet.
Brush it under the carpet, kind of thing. And somebody was depressed, that it was just, oh, come on, you can't be that bad. Kind of attitude to all of it, really.
Here's one. Pull yourself together, lad.
Yeah, pull yourself together. Yeah.
Yeah, the famous one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, it's just. I think it's. Wow. It's gone black. No, I think it's just more noticeable now, and more people talk about it. But
which is a good thing.
What is for sure a good thing, but when you hear the solution, the treatments for people with depression, it's in my eyes that it's horror.
Yeah, well,
it's varied, isn't it? It's quite a wide spectrum of treatments.
I think it depends on where you go, and I mean, if you've got a good doctor, then your doctor will listen rather than just stick you straight onto some.
I think the worst thing that can happen is you go along and see your doctor. He doesn't really pay attention. He's not really listening, or he or she's not really listening to what you're saying, and just stuffs you full of pills, sends you on your merry way home, and that's it.
Yeah.
That is not a good answer. That is not a good treatment, in my opinion. Pills may be necessary in certain cases, absolutely, but in tandem, it needs a level of support.
Yes.
Very often the person taking the pills goes home to a bedsit somewhere, and it's okay, it may be taking away the acute anxiety, and there may be some very good benefits of the drugs that they may be on. It doesn't make up for the fact that really there is no comparison to having a supportive framework in place. Yes. Even if it's just one friend to latch onto or talk to, it's so important to be able to talk to someone. I think that's very...
Well, to be honest, I mean, I think, there's some mental health charities that can be very supportive. I don't know about Greece per se, but I know that Mind is a very good mental health charity in the UK, which helps a lot, and they do all sorts of things like go out for group activities and do walks and art and everything to try and help people with mental health issues to actually communicate with each other.
That's crucial in this.
And it's also, if you can talk to somebody else about your depression as well, then that's always a good thing to do. Is actually you can I know it sounds a bit weird, but like comparing notes almost.
Yes, no.
On I couldn't get up in the morning. I couldn't do the washing up. I just didn't want to do anything. And they have the same experience. So then, you can, as you say, make a friend and hopefully share that experience and help each other. That's possibly a good thing to do.
It's very important to know that you're not the only one.
You're not alone. That's true.
Alone, exactly.
That's very true.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's many different types of treatment.
And there's many different types of depression as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but what what strikes me is it's the age groups at the moment. When I read about it, it's the age groups. I mean, there is a 13, 14-year-old running around and get treated with tablets for depression.
Yes.
Quite heavy.
There's loads.
Why
is this now so extreme compared to 20 years ago?
Do you know? Actually, I'm gonna talk about this one. I actually think it could possibly come down to the social media.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Are we getting somewhere?
Sorry. Actually, some of the cause is possibly through social media, because they have almost like a peer pressure of having this kind of, you've got to be doing something, you've got to be showing pictures of yourself having fun, and not everybody. Especially in these times when people are really short of money as well. I mean, let's face it, a lot of people are quite short of money, so you can't afford to have all these going out for meals or going to the theme park or going to going out and being that kind of fun kind of person. So you have that kind of pressure almost to be that person, be like that, and if you're not, then that would cause depression. It can cause depression.
No, it seems to me like people forgot how to live.
Yes.
You know, I mean, okay, if I don't have enough money, I can't go and have some food. Okay, I can't go to the cinema. I can't go every day and have something to eat, or go down to the pub and have 4 or 5 pints. And automatically the world goes down.
Only 4 or 5.
Okay. What should I say now? I agree. Just a number I took from somewhere.
Sorry. Carry on.
So, okay, you can't go to the pub and have 10, 11 beers. But but that's a reason for the world to end. That's a reason to go into depression and say, wow, okay, to a certain degree I understand.
Yes.
When you're used to a certain lifestyle and all of a sudden this lifestyle falls apart, it's hard to take.
Yes.
It's hard to take, but I think we can't cluster everything as depression.
No, but there is also, I mean, again, going back to social media, there's trolling and cyberbullying and things like that going on within the younger generation that we're not used to. Certainly not. No. If you didn't like somebody, you actually went up to their face and told them that you didn't like them, or you wrote them a letter.
Yes.
You wrote them a letter. Did you write any letters?
No, certainly not.
I've had 2 though, very unpleasant letters, death threats when I was younger.
Really?
Very nasty. Yes.
Oh dear.
Ooh, but you got bullied or?
Did you get bullied?
Not especially. I had a death threat when I was at school, and the headmaster took it so seriously that he held the whole school back, this is primary school, until the culprit, as it were, had made themselves known to the authorities as to who had written the death threat to me. It was all very unpleasant, and everybody was most annoyed that they were still at school at 4:30 in the afternoon when they should have been playing at about 3:30. How old was I? I was probably about 9 or 10, I think, 8 or 9. I wasn't any more than 10, that's for sure.
Okay.
But it was a sobering experience to me. This was a former friend. I think we'd fallen out because he wanted me to steal a famous confectionery bar from his local shop, and because I said no, I don't want to steal this bar of confection, he got a bit funny. I don't know. And then much later on, difficult story, some other lady sent me death threats in a letter. She actually ordered black carnations for me, but fortunately the florists took exception to this, and I was on good terms with the florist because I spent rather a lot on bouquets with a then girlfriend. She had a lot of flowers from me, did she? But anyway, didn't do me any good, by the way. She's still scarpered, but never mind. No, I love her really. Wherever you are, hello. She's out there somewhere. But anyway, the black carnations didn't arrive, but the letter did, and that was a bit sobering. I can't say in details because talking about other people's private lives, but it did honestly shake me. And when you read such a letter, you kind of think that it is so. It is genuine, as it were. And I must admit, for a good few months after that, I kept a very low profile.
How'd you get black carnations? I didn't know there was such a thing.
No, me neither.
Yes, there are. You can get them.
Really?
Yes, or you can. What you do is get white carnations, and then you get a spray can out, don't you? Black, and then you do a bit of.
Okay.
Do a bit of that.
There is another way to do it.
Oh, is it?
Well, you can put ink in the water.
Ah, oh yes. That's okay. Thank you for telling
And
everybody
then
that.
it soaks it up.
Great.
There you
On a equally a serious subject here, there was a news item. I think it's about 2 years ago now, and I can't remember whether it was a young lady or a young gentleman, and it was in the United Kingdom, I believe, or could have been in the States. But this person had taken over 20,000 selfies, and they weren't happy with any of them. And they used that as a reason for committing suicide. And I think that is
That's
awful.
Awful.
Yes. And that goes back to your point earlier on about the immense peer pressure
Yes.
on youngsters particularly. And Thomas asked a good question. Why is it so prevalent now with youngsters? I do think social media is an element of it.
Is an element
One
of it.
element.
One
I'm
element
sure
of
there's
it,
other
yeah.
elements, yes.
Not saying that it's all of it, but
No. But it's one. And maybe social media does need to be a little bit better policed, maybe. I know the companies have got onto it now a bit more with panic buttons and all sorts of direct roads in. I think that needs to happen because there are some people out there who are being absolutely trolled to pieces, aren't they? Which is really quite bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, we're throwing the responsibility or the guilt now a little bit on the social media, but I think it goes deeper. I think where it starts is their own governments.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's okay. Social media contributes for sure.
Yes.
Because it's more accessible. You can write. You can contact. I mean, remember back, guys, when we gone out and we wanted to meet somewhere, there were no mobile phones, there were no texts, there were no quick messages to be sent. We had to dial the old ways.
We did.
You know, we had to go this way.
That's so slow these days.
Yeah, I know, but that was the way to ask. Well, can I phone my friend, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you phoned, and depends if your friend is at home or not.
If they were,
If
they
they're not
went
at home,
off,
so
they had
that's
an
it.
answer machine.
Yeah, if they had the money for it, okay, they had an answer machine. But that's how it is nowadays. The way of life is so fast. The communication is so fast, and not just within your own country, worldwide.
No.
So I think we have to throw a little bit this back to the governments. All right.
Yes.
I think they're failing on quite a couple of fronts there of protecting children or underaged or young people from certain kind of media.
Yeah, but there's also, I mean, they have pressure also to perform well at school as well. I mean,
immense pressure.
That's a huge thing. I mean, it wasn't so bad, I suppose, in our day, back when we were using slate and chalk. But
Really, I don't remember that.
oh, no,
Not
of
slate
course
and
you
chalk,
don't, because you were using slate and a chisel. But we moved on to chalk.
No wonder I didn't pass my exams. They obviously couldn't read my writing.
But
No, I know why his books are so heavy.
Well, that's one reason maybe.
But there is a lot of pressure on children to actually perform well at school because the job market is so competitive now. I mean, even before I came out of school, you could pretty much walk into a job almost. Although I grew up in the Thatcher years, so 3 million unemployed and all that. But you could almost walk into a job, or you could get an apprenticeship, or there was that kind of culture. Now it is so hard. I mean, to try and put your CV together and then put it out to people that are giving out the jobs, and there must be whereas years ago you'd probably had maybe 20 people applying for a job. Now you get hundreds applying.
Very true. Yes.
And if your school certificates aren't there, and your standard of work wasn't there, you're not going to get a job. So I mean, there must be so much pressure on the young people these days to actually work hard at school, and you should work hard at school. Obviously.
Yeah, but it's the outlooks. What outlook do the young people have? Man, we here in Greece now. We spoke about it a couple of days ago too, about the lost generation of Greece. There were a few good articles written. I mean, what outlook do they have? What do they have to look forward?
Mm.
If you look in Greece for the young Greek people now, what do they have to look forward? To pay the debt
Yes.
for our generation.
Mm.
Well, let's admit it, when it gone wrong, it's gone wrong, badly wrong in the 90s, 80s, 90s. That's where it all started, and now they're paying for these mistakes, and paying heavily. So to be depressed, I'm not surprised.
No.
As a young person today, okay, the outlook is not the best.
No.
We had so many opportunities. We were able to do so many things.
Yes.
Trying to do them today,
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it.
it's much harder than it was before. Definitely,
be very hard. Yeah. Indeed.
But the UK government said a couple of weeks ago that even they were very concerned about the sheer high volume and increase of children's mental health
Yeah.
Yes.
patients. There's an enormous explosion, and through government cuts and all the rest of it, I really don't think the services are able to cope fully.
No.
It's a very worrying trend in the UK at the moment.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think we closed that one now. So just because we got a couple of people saying they thought we're not taking this seriously. No, we're taking this very seriously.
We take it very seriously indeed.
Very seriously, and maybe in a later point. I have to switch around here too. Wow, maybe in a later point we can pick up on that and discuss this again. Have maybe a guest here where we can go deeper into things.
That would be great.
That's a very good idea, Thomas.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that's one of the keystones of resolving some of the problems the young society has today.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So, what's next to talk about then?
Yeah. What are we talking
What's
about?
next about? Okay, next I thought we going quick for a short break. We get ready, and when we
Okay.
come back from the break, we have some our sequences of Made in Corfu. Then what I said is about animals. You will look into that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
and then okay.
Jolly
No,
good.
and then okay, guys, we will have a quick break.
See you soon.
See you very soon.
I start off, all right?
Yep.
And welcome back to the second part of our night shift live from Corfu, where we speak about island-related things and everything else what jumps into our head or what you viewers are writing into us. We have a couple of things coming up. This is question and answers of Corfu. So we received a couple of questions from people who are thinking of coming on holiday and have some questions. And then we go over to our animals. We got our first animal we wanna find a forever home for. So we going on to this soon. And then with Wayne, what's up? So you know what's going on in Corfu, events, different kinds, theater plays, and. So, okay guys, next thing. Question and answer, Corfu. And I got an email from somebody here telling us, okay, we spoke yesterday and we took a little bit apart the all-inclusive, what tour operators offer on the island all season and how it can damage the general tourism on the island.
Yeah.
And the question from them is, okay, is there any good solution on the island for self-catering?
Yes, I believe there are quite a few apartments designed for the self-caterer.
Yeah.
All over the place, actually.
There's
But it may not be so well collectively marketed, perhaps.
I mean, we spoke about the north and the south yesterday, no?
Yes,
Up in the
we
north is more the tourism for self-catering, for all-inclusive holiday. It's more the tour operator country.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we spoke about the south, and what you see in the south, there's a lot of self-catering. So I mean, this is maybe one of the differences between north and south. South, you got a lot of holiday resorts, very well organized, by the way, resorts. You have them in the south too, but not as much as in the north.
No.
And south, especially in our area here, a lot of self-catering, holiday apartments and beautiful villas.
Yes, there's quite a few villas, aren't there, that that you can come and rent, I suppose.
Oh yes, absolutely, and cook 5-course meals if you like. Cordon bleu. They have very well appointed with equipment.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit that there are lots and lots of vegetable shops here, aren't there?
Yes, there are, and kiosks by the roadside as well.
Yeah, and the self catering. I mean, I suppose it makes a lot of sense for you if if you've got a big family, perhaps maybe it's easier just to self cater. But there are definitely places that you can rent, that you can that you can self cater at. Yeah, definitely. Really nice places, in fact.
Yes, indeed there are. We've been to a few.
I've been to a few.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a two-edged sword, the all-inclusive, isn't it? I mean, yes, we can see that it's got a lot of negatives to it. For instance, people are eating on site, less likely to use local tavernas and possibly go to local shops. That's the negative. Many other people, for the positive, would say that the all-inclusive brings an awful lot of people here en masse, families en masse, and I suppose drives quite a lot of the traffic. But then you've got to ask yourself, well, wouldn't they come here anyway? I mean, the notion is that an all-inclusive package holiday to Corfu is a cheap option. I was quite horrified that when I received some emails from a famous tour company offering me the chance to do a package holiday here to Corfu in an all-inclusive, I was really quite shocked at the prices. And I have to say, I can't believe that you couldn't get a cheaper holiday in a self-catering and probably a more beautiful place, actually.
Yeah, and I suppose it leaves you able to have other options. When you're doing self-catering, you can...
Yes, you're free. There's a sense of freedom, isn't there?
There is a sense of freedom,
yes.
Yeah.
I've only stayed in an all-inclusive once, and that was in 2007 when I had another reason to come to this island, and the deal that I had was probably economically attractive, shall we say. But for me, being in this all-inclusive hotel, which was somewhere on the west of the island, I mean, the hotel was fine and all the rest of it, but it was having to wear these bands round my wrist. I had a great problem with that. because I had to go and see this rather important person for a meeting, and the last thing I wanted was this kind of pink band round my wrist. So I sort of asked the receptionist nicely if she would possibly take it off, and they were quite offended by that. So don't tell anyone, but I snipped it off myself and sneaked out, and then I had to get some sellotape to repair it when I got back in.
You got some sellotape?
Yes, I did. But when I removed the band and I went outside the building, I have to say I felt this immense sense of freedom. Corfu, here I come! Well,
oh dear,
wasn't quite like that, but so all-inclusives are not actually for me. But if you like a collective group holiday with lots of karaoke and quizzes and all sorts of other things, then maybe it's just the thing for you.
Well,
I'm not knocking them.
Could you not do that in a self-catering place?
Well, you probably could. Yes, more
get
fun
your own
actually.
karaoke machine in.
Have a knees up Mother Brown on a Friday night. Be fantastic.
Knees up Mother Brown,
or something similar. I don't know. A song and dance show, all on your own with your family. Yes, why not?
All on your own with
your family. Well, as opposed to a whole load of hotel
that's
people.
Not true. That's not true. There's so many. I mean, every taverna around here, for sure on the island, they put on their own live entertainment.
Yes, they do.
So if you self-cater and you go out, you find brilliant restaurants, brilliant tavernas.
Yeah.
They put live music on. You get a little bit of the real Greece, real Corfu from that. But going on to that all-inclusive, I got a message here from Steven saying all-inclusive were fine, only one very annoying thing is being hustled from the tour operators.
Really?
First is he described it with the welcome meetings. I know how it goes. You arrive in the evening or late night. Next day in the morning you have a welcome meeting, and this is where they try to sell you all the trips, all the things, and rent a car. And right. He found that very annoying. He said it is if you on the line with them and say, okay, I take part in this trip, I rent this from you, and then they are the nicest people to you.
Yes.
If you say, hey guys, leave me alone, I'm here on holiday, I want to relax.
Yes.
Some of them got very nasty.
Is that because they're on a commission base, do you think?
For sure.
Yes.
They're all on commission base. They all have the pressure. But this comes down to the tour operators again. To the companies themselves, not to the staff on the island. I spoke to people who work for big tour operators and do these welcome meetings and say, the pressure they are under to perform and to sell is tremendous.
Yeah.
So, and when this starts already on this... in the holiday, when I come and I have a tour operator who is under pressure, he has to sell, he's under pressure to organize things. I mean, how should you have a good holiday?
Yeah. I suppose what they're doing is all the time they'll be pressuring you to take a tour or go somewhere with them. And
they are. We heard a story down in Kavos, didn't we, Thomas, about how the tour operators were really pressurising the first arrivals to sign up to all these tours. And, they were about 19, 20 euros a pop. But that, so we've learnt, was how the tour guides earned their money. Right. I think the problem was that the basic salary from the tour operator was very low.
Well, that's not good.
No.
That's
basic
really unfair.
salaries are not high, but they're generally not high. If you look back 2 years ago, a waiter in a hotel who serves you when it's all-inclusive.
Yes.
Yeah, so all-inclusive people listen to that now.
Yeah.
When you come to Corfu, 2 years ago, a waiter earned €2.50 an hour.
Yes.
That's terrible.
€2.50 an hour. So they went on with €2.50 an hour to do their job.
Wow. That's
so,
awful.
and they have to smile. And when you look at the Greek staff, they are all happy. They all smile.
Yes.
The professionalism is very high. So it's for sure. But €2.50 an hour, you work 14, 15 hours a day.
No way.
So they make you work. They make you stay. Wow. I mean.
So remember that when you're coming here, make sure you tip your waiter.
Yes, the service you usually get is fantastic here.
Absolutely.
I think.
Yeah.
So look after the waiter.
Yeah.
No, and to answer the victims about self-catering, I mean, you had friends coming over who rented apartments here while on holiday. They had no problems.
That's right. Yes. No, I haven't had any. I personally don't know of any problems from apartments or villas or any of that. No.
So on that. Okay, I hope this answered that question. For the tour operators, of course, they can be a little bit pushy. We all know that, but we know under what pressure they are.
Yes.
Yeah. They have to do their job, don't they?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No question about that. But you know, it
But
influences
I mean,
your
if
holiday.
somebody says to you, please don't hassle me, then you should adhere to that, surely.
You'd have thought so.
You'd have thought so, but no. Okay.
No, there's some stories, but okay, like everything else, you know, some of these stories you have to take with a pinch of salt.
Of course.
So you can't take that serious. People are getting
Fake news.
Fake news. Yeah. Back on fake news. No, it is sometimes disturbing, but in generally on Corfu, it's a wonderful experience. If you all inclusive, if you self-cater, there is a big mixture here. I found out there's a lot of self-catering villas and apartments. What offer services, of course, like shopping services, and then on top of it,
Yes,
they offer
yes.
even
that's very good.
Deliveries.
Deliveries to the villa, or even you can hire a cook for the evening. When you have a bigger family, they come in, and it's affordable. I tell you now, a whole dinner for 8 people, cooked by a professional cook in a nice villa, including the food, €200.
Wow.
That reminds me of a story of a lady that I knew who was running a small little eatery. I won't say it was a tavern, it was an eatery. She was a specialist chef specialising in a certain type of cuisine, and she did her very best. She ran the business for a couple of years, but she found it hard going, and she decided to sell the business and start up on her own, doing exactly what Thomas has just said, going round to villas and cooking lavish meals. And she's had a year of doing that, and she's had the best year ever.
Fab.
So for her, she made the right decision.
That's really good.
She's a good
I
cook,
didn't know
mind you.
that existed.
No, I think it's a relatively new thing.
Oh, really? That's really cool.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're talking about the Spice Kitchen?
Yes, I was, actually. How did you guess?
Oh, you know.
Well, she was a lovely lady, and she was a dab hand at making samosas. In fact, I would go so far as to say she made the very best samosas I've ever had in my life. There you go.
And here we talk about food again.
Oh, no, we are, aren't we? Oh,
We can't get away from it. No.
To food.
Oh, no, man.
All right.
All right. Why not? But okay, self-catering, we hope we answered these questions for you. Stephen, tour operators, we agree they can be, but if you think of self-catering, it really depends. I think it really depends what type of holiday maker you are, like
Yes.
Wayne said yesterday. You have to know, and maybe try that and see if it's for you, it's not for you.
Yeah.
But this island has for everyone something.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Next thing, okay, the last question for today. Katharina wrote in and said, okay, oh my God. Okay.
Okay.
Can you guys give any advice about travel insurance?
Ooh.
I mean, me personally now, I have never taken travel insurance. My wife probably did, and I didn't know. I have no idea. But personally, from my side, I never bothered with travel insurance. I have my health card for Europe, and that's it.
A certain line of a certain Clint Eastwood film comes to mind here.
Oh, yeah.
The question is, do you feel lucky?
Yeah. Well,
That's the question.
Punk?
Yeah. Well, I was trying to do the polite version.
Okay.
We're below the watershed,
All
I
right.
think. But it is as Thomas has alluded to, it's a bit of a minefield insurance, and there are many of us who've never even heard of it. But it's one of those things that maybe if you don't and you suffer some cataclysmic trouble with your baggage in an airport lounge, I think for things like insuring your baggage, this could be quite a good thing. But I don't know. There's the fatalists amongst us, aren't there, that say, well, if the plane's going to come down, it's going to come down, and what good's insurance to me after that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends, again, on the person, on you, doesn't it?
I would personally probably go with health insurance, definitely.
That's always a good one, most definitely. Yes,
because
it's very wise.
Yeah, very wise, especially if you're used to the UK with the NHS, and then you're coming to a country where you may have to pay thousands of euros because you've broken your leg and you've had to be rescued from somewhere or other, you know.
That's a very good point Wayne's making. I think in terms of health, I think insurance really does come into its own. If you're worried about excessive costs, the best way to approach the subject of travel insurance is to go on any one you like, comparison websites, because the levels of cover and the costs of the premium vary so much. They really do.
Yes.
And it's probably best to get a single trip one, really. Unless you're a really ardent traveller and you're travelling all over the place, I think single trip would probably do you, and you can get some jolly good deals.
Yeah.
For instance, you could have a week away, and it can cost you about £6 or £7, for instance, and that would cover you for several £1 million worth of medical expenses, a bit of cash, maybe £100 or £200. They're not very generous on the cash element, but your baggage and other things would be covered, and flight delays and all that.
Yeah.
But I think the medical point is the most important to do with travel insurance, really.
Actually, I mean, here's a point. I mean, how does car insurance work when you're abroad? Does that cover the same thing?
Okay, when you go now, every car rental company here offers that automatically. This is with your new contract. Right. They advise you, they will explain to you. That's important. When you rent a car, when you rent a bike, listen to what the guys say.
Yes.
What's included, what's not included. If you're not sure, just ask them again.
Yes.
And ask them again until you understand what's going on. And that's the same with the travel insurance. I had a quick look when I got the message in and said, okay, what is the specialists out there? What do they recommend you do? And everybody says the same. When you take an insurance, read the small print.
Yeah.
There is this attached paper with it what nobody of us reads. Including me, but take no seriously.
No.
It is, you know, the feeling.
Terms and agree. Oh, yeah.
It became nowadays. It became so important to read that small print. You know exactly what you're insured, what you're not insured. And I agree with Adrian. When you go somewhere, we say, okay, go for a trip, have a look at health cover.
Yeah.
If something happened to me, how do I get back to my country?
Yeah.
That's the only thing you have to worry about.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the most important one out of there, because as I say, you know, if you break your leg on a beach or something, and then you have to be transported, you'll get that transport cost and all the different things that come with it. So you have to pay for your doctors and the nurses and the medication and all of that sort of thing. So yeah, I would have said that's one of the most important ones to definitely get your cover for.
So, in answer to the questioner, yes, it's ideal to have it if you can, but shop around.
Yeah.
And there's many different types of travel insurance, and you just select the one that best suits you, I think, is the answer.
Definitely.
Don't just take the first one that comes along.
No. Shop.
Okay, I think we put an end to that one today, so we hope we answered your questions to your satisfaction. Otherwise, you will write to us anyway and let us know.
And complain.
And complain.
Heartily.
Yeah, please do.
Why not?
If you do.
It's lovely to hear from you anyway. Even if you are complaining, we just love hearing from you. So keep them coming, folks.
So, and then we move on to the next thing. And the next thing, this will make you happy, Adrian, because it's down the road, is Made in Corfu. We're all excited about Made in Corfu.
Yes, I get very excited about Made in Corfu because you're travelling around, for instance, Corfu town, and you can see some amazing things. There's a little shop somewhere in an alleyway in Corfu town that sells nothing but wood, olive wood, carvings, wonderful things like bowls. For a present some years ago, I bought some wooden bowls to some people in England, and they're still eating out of them now. Lovely. To them, it's the most wonderful thing. It gave a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, just a simple olive wooden bowl. And spoons and forks and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yes, no, Made in Corfu is a feature that we're very keen to promote here. Obviously, everything from the island has an extra special je ne sais quoi, shall we say, to us. But it's also good for the island, great for the local economy, and it's good for the person, you, the listener and viewer, that buys these products, because then you take a little piece of Corfu home with you, and every time you use that product, you'll be thinking of this wonderful island.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And over the next coming weeks, we hope to show you a wide variety of different products that are made exclusively on this island. And I think, Thomas, you've got something to start us off with today, haven't you?
Oh, yes, I do. I mean, as we know, Christmas is coming up. Everybody's looking, what can I buy for... Yeah.
Christmas is coming.
Where have you been?
Guess for who that elf costume in the back is?
Oh, you got me an elf costume. Oh, really? Oh, well.
Good heavens.
So, no, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. But
He's
Christmas
going to
is
be
coming,
Santa.
and it's nothing nicer when you get handmade presents. What Adrian is Santa.
No,
Oh.
I couldn't possibly be Santa. No. I think I'd
I
better
don't
be an
know.
elf, actually. I think more.
You'd be
more-
better as an elf.
I think so, yes.
It's an elf.
The
No, we got
bitchy.
an elf. We got an elf. The
Oh,
only
have
thing
we?
we're missing is the Grinch.
I don't think I want to be the reindeer somehow.
Oh, you said the
Right,
Grinch.
the
The Grinch. Oh.
The Grinch that stole Christmas.
Oh,
Dr.
no, I don't
Seuss.
want to be him. No.
No?
Christmas is a wonderful, joyous time of year, isn't it?
It
The
is.
season of goodwill to all people. Fabulous. I wish we could do that every day.
I think so. Yeah, it'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
It would.
But what did you have,
Well, no,
Thomas?
it's handmade. Everything is about made in Corfu, and this is handmade stuff. It's beautiful Christmas presents when you have something made by hand. If it's from your own or from somebody else's, no, it really doesn't matter. And now in Corfu, I'm excited because it starts again. There's everywhere the little Christmas fairs, and you see all the craftswomen, artists coming out and try to flock. I can say, no.
Flock.
There's no flock
Trying to
just out. But
That's the thing.
Sounds like Del Boyle to me.
But it's a beautiful time, and one of the things I'm chosen today. Let me show it to you quick.
Please do. Ah.
And here we go.
Oh, very nice.
I found it. There's a Christmas market. That's handmade Christmas. This is vintage handmade Christmas decorations by Vana Aisha.
Oh, lovely.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Like
so if you go onto Facebook and look at Vana Aisha, you can find her on the Corfu Grapevine. But there's lovely stuff. She makes handmade stuff, and that's the things I'm talking about. That's a nice present. That's something different.
That
Yes.
is.
I love the illustration on the one on the right-hand side. There's a beautiful Christmas scene with the church, the
With the
bridge, and the snow. It's almost picture postcard Christmas, isn't it?
It's no, it's the whole craft is beautiful. I mean, from the quality of painting is fantastic, and this is probably
yeah.
an olive wood. I have no idea, but I just like the look of it. And they started now on the Grapevine to plug these things. There is the Christmas fairs coming up, and different craftsmen, women start to plug their goods, and there's some really good handmade stuff, especially for decorating at home. I think it's got more and more important with Christmas decorations in the last years.
Yeah.
The amount of Christmas decorations you find everywhere, it's really gone through the roof, and the choice you have.
And they're very subtle as well, aren't they? They're not over the top or anything.
No, not at all. It's something you get out at Christmas. You hang up somewhere, you put it somewhere to make your house or your office look a little bit more Christmassy. Then you wrap it up. But next year when you take them out again, no, most of the stuff you probably forgot over
Yeah.
the year. No, you got that, and then the time comes where you started putting a Christmas tree up, putting your decorations up, and then all of a sudden you find so smaller things that, oh yes, you remember where I bought
Yeah.
that, where we got that from, and every little piece of decoration has a little story, and that's I think what is Christmas all about.
Yeah. And these are handmade.
These are handmade, so I haven't been in contact yet, but they are handmade. They're handmade in Corfu.
They're lovely.
And
So-
is that wood, Thomas?
That's a wooden boards. They're wooden
It
cutting
is.
boards, what are really nicely decorated,
They're lovely.
gilded, painted. Yeah, no, I think she done a very, very nice job with that.
Yeah.
So just to give her another plug, this is Vana Aisha.
Absolutely.
So as you see written on the screen, have a look at the Grapevine, get in contact. If you really like one of that, why not? Send her a message, and for sure you can arrange something. I do not know how much it cost, but this is the stuff, what is produced on the island.
That's so
Very
pretty.
yeah.
Very pretty.
Yes, it's a long way from going to the Woolworths, isn't it, to get your baubles.
Woolworths. Now,
Yeah.
there's
All
a
right.
shout out from the past.
Yes, indeed, showing my age again.
Mm.
Here, you can go to Jumbo and get your baubles.
I'm waiting for that. Who? But to be honest, you're getting lost every time you visit that place.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot of variety. It's exactly my point. You look in this shop now. unbelievable. I've never seen so much Christmas decoration in my life
Where's this?
in one place.
In Jumbo?
In Jumbo.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right, Thomas. It's
Wow.
extraordinary. Absolutely. I went in there the other day for a small item, and it's Christmas everywhere. You can't miss it. Incredible. One or two things, catch your eye.
Did they have a singing snowman or something
I
like that?
think they might have had a singing someone. I don't know about a snowman. Probably a Santa, I think they had.
All
Yes,
right.
they had all sorts there. Yes, from the big to the small. It's all there.
I used to know somebody that used to collect those kind of things.
Really?
And have them all dotted around the house.
Oh, lovely.
And then you walk past them, and obviously they set themselves off.
Oh,
So you'd have jingle bells coming from one place, and then Silent Night coming from another place. Oh,
what a cacophony.
Yeah, I remember the singing fish.
Oh, Billy the Fish.
Billy the Fish, yes.
Billy the
that was
Fish.
Billy the Fish.
Billy the Fish? I
Fantastic,
don't
yeah.
know about Billy the Fish. Tell me about Billy the Fish.
Billy,
Billy
you
the
don't
Fish?
know Billy the Fish?
No, enlighten me, pray.
It was like it's supposed
Don't
to be.
tell him.
Oh,
No, tell him.
all right, okay, sorry. No, it was.
Don't tell him.
It was a fish that was mounted on a
bass,
board.
no?
Right.
Bass. Yeah. It sounded like a bass or something like that. And then you'd walk past it, and then it would turn its head towards you and then start singing.
Really?
Yeah.
This for Christmas?
No, just all year.
Was it there? No, he sang Jingle Bells or something. No, a Merry Christmas. Something he said. There was a Christmas version of Billy the Fish,
I
no?
can't remember. Hopefully a viewer will tell us about it, but I thought it was something else. I didn't think it was a Christmas song.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Yes, that's strange.
Billy the Fish. They came out of a couple of other ones as well, like Lenny the Lobster and something
Lenny
else.
the Lobster.
You sure this isn't fake news?
No, it's not fake news. The best thing.
We've got Billy the Fish, Lenny the Lobster. Have you got anything else in this menagerie you can
Chris the
add
Crab?
to?
I don't know.
Who's that?
Chris the Crab?
Chris the Crab. Wow.
That sounds a bit
Chris
like
the
Chris the
Crab.
Burr. No,
Yes.
sorry.
No. He's a good singer.
Chris the
Great
Crab.
voice. Great voice.
I want to see Chris the Crab with Chris the Burr eyebrows.
Oh.
On his stalks.
Yes, that's
Oh, really?
quite amusing. Wonder
Sorry.
what he sang.
The funniest thing I ever had for Christmas.
Chris the Crab. What would he sing, do you think?
I don't know what Chris the Crab would sing.
Any ideas, folks? Do let us know if you have any ideas. We'd love to know.
Oh no, man, we're losing control.
I don't know.
No, but the funniest thing I ever had for Christmas, yeah,
Yeah.
we had it at our house for Christmas, ne? Was a hula hooping Santa Claus.
Oh, yes,
You
I
remember
saw
that?
one of those. Yeah, that's funny.
A skiing one and a hula hooping one.
Oh, yeah.
So it's quite bizarre. Certain
See,
things you can find or you get given as presents.
I've got a
it's,
hula hooping Santa Claus in my head now. I can just see it.
No, this worked fine. It was really funny, no? I mean, why not? Have your Santa
Why
hula
not?
hooping next to the Christmas tree.
Why not?
Yeah, sure he liked him.
Sure, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, man, that is not handmade stuff, is it?
No, that's not.
No.
So how did we get there? This is because he mentioned the shop again.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mentioned that.
I
that
mentioned
particular
some big shop, yes,
Yeah,
but obviously something's much better that's handmade and made with love, and
Yeah,
the fact
absolutely.
that it's made here in Corfu with love is extra special, I
Yeah,
would say.
definitely.
So we'd actually like to see some more examples. If any of you out there have made Christmas things, why not send us a picture?
Yeah,
We
that'd
can
be
display
lovely.
it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had our first handmade in Corfu with a brilliant,
Yeah.
wonderful handmade cutting boards, beautifully decorated from Vana Aisha. Anything else you guys found on handmade? I'm the only person who found something.
Well, no. I mean, you're the only person that found any pictures. There's lots of stuff that's handmade here. But
No,
I
it's
just haven't got any
fantastic,
pictures.
In
to
a few
hand.
weeks' time, I'm going to show you some plant pot holders. I know you can't wait, and you'll be very excited, but I am going to be showing you those in the next few
We
days.
got this handmade, and maybe we get him in as a guest. You never
Yes, that'd be
Yes.
lovely.
I'm due to see the person soon, in the next few days, actually.
Oh, great.
So watch this space.
That'd be good. be fantastic.
So if you want to join us one evening to chat with us and share your Corfu Ep life with us, or your Corfu Ep handmade, or your talents, or whatever, no, write us an email at nightshift@studiokikira.com, and maybe you could sit next to this too.
Yes, look, there's a spare seat just waiting for you right now. Right here. This could be you. Yes, it could. We'd love to see you here, wouldn't we?
We'd love to see them, yeah.
We'd be glad of the company, wouldn't we, Thomas? The more, the merrier.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, what brings me on to the next? And that's our animals. We spoke yesterday about animals. Okay, we said how good the island is actually organized. But we said we want to support. So I looked through today through a couple of sites, and there were a couple of sad stories in there. We will show them over the next couple of days. I have a couple of other laid up. But today were a call out for a kitty. This will make Adrian happy now.
Oh.
And here we go.
Lovely little kitty.
So lovely little kitty was found, I think, in the south. And woman is looking for a place. It's outside at the moment, and she's afraid it gets hurt because a lot of stray dogs, she said, and a lot of other cats, and I don't know, but as a little kitty up for grabs now, if you want to give it a forever home, there's the telephone number. The lady to call is Jasmine Mess, and the telephone number to call is 6956152259. So just to let you know again, is 6956152259. It's a beautiful little kitty, isn't it?
Oh, so sweet.
Kitty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Poor little thing.
I mean, yours is black, Adrian, isn't it?
Black and white, yes.
Black
How
and
old
white.
is this little kitty here, do you think?
I have no idea. I found it earlier, just a couple of hours ago, on a message on the Corfu Grapevine. So go onto the Corfu Grapevine and have a look. You will find that post and her telephone number, and you can see these pictures of this little kitty looking for a forever home. I mean, this is just one of many animals on this island who would love a forever home. I saw earlier something, maybe we can black this tomorrow, about dogs. There's circumstances. It's not always that they are strays, but there's always sometimes circumstances involved. People, their life can change.
Yeah.
You have a pet, your life changes. I mean, I don't want to. You probably don't want a dog about that, Wayne. But people's life change. They have to make hard decisions, and
They do.
I have another one with two dogs, two German shepherds. Actually, 8 months old each, and they're looking for a forever home because her circumstances changed through her work, and she cannot take the dogs with her. So that's another side.
Yeah. That's a very sweet little cat.
Beautiful little cat. So if you guys know somebody who is looking for a cat, or know somebody who has space, or yourself got space and said, oh, okay, you know what, I like this kitty, call Jasmine Mess on 6956152259 and see, maybe we can find a forever home. And if you can offer this cat a forever home, we would love to hear from you, and we would love to hear where she's going to, if she's staying on the island, or maybe goes to another country, what is totally possible. Yeah, but lovely one. Yeah,
We'd love to see pictures of it in its new home. Sleep by the fire, maybe. Cozying up by the fire.
They do, don't they?
Definitely.
Yours does.
They like a bit of warmth. Body heat snatchers, aren't they? I think?
Very much so.
Body heads.
That's why it sits on your lap.
Particularly when he's been out in the rain and he comes in extremely wet pussy, not always the one. But, you know, what can you do? You have to dry warm up, as it were.
It has a particular spot by your fire, doesn't it?
Yes, ready for the fire to go. Actually, today is the first time that I had lit a fire this year. I mean, I have to say, last night when we left the studio, folks, it was jolly chilly, which is, I suppose not bad, but considering we are advanced November.
Nearly December. Yeah.
And we have had a beautiful summer, amazing temperatures of 38, 39 degrees for many days indeed.
Yep.
So I don't actually know what the temperature was last night, but it did feel very cold, I have to say. And today is the first day that I've lit the fire.
Okay.
Well, at least I hope the fire's still going. I hope the house isn't burnt down, but there you go. You never know with me, I'll tell you. You never know.
Oh my God. But we will for sure carry on with plugging some animals.
We carry on anyway.
Yeah. Keep calm and carry on. Absolutely.
At least it's nice, cozy and warm.
Yes.
No house left, but it's warm. Oh no. Okay, no. This is segment about animals for tonight. We will bring for sure more. We will go out. We will hook up with some of the charities on the island, with some of the candles, with some of the rescue stations, and for sure bring you more and see if we can support in any way to find these lovely animals a forever home.
Yes.
That'd be lovely.
Very good idea.
So, and of course, if you have any story for us, you think we should plug for you, we should highlight, and write to us. Email us at nightshift@studiokikira.com. And please don't forget to like us on Facebook.
And follow us on Twitter and watch us on YouTube.
And subscribe to us on YouTube as well.
Oh, absolutely. And there's always the website, www.studiokikira.com.
It's almost as if you've learned that, Adrian.
Oh, it's embedded now, I think.
It's
Embedded.
Fabulous.
No, so moving on, and the next thing is something exciting, because I'm always excited about events happening on this island.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Yes.
And I think you found us some good events, Wayne.
Oh, I found a event.
You found a event.
No, it's the 7th Corfu Choir Festival.
Oh.
Yeah, there's loads of choirs across the island. Absolutely loads. I can't remember, didn't you say the other day that
22 philharmonics or something?
Yeah, but I thought you quoted a figure of how many choirs there are as well.
No, but I seem to remember number 7. Is that anything to do with choirs? 7? No.
No, okay.
Well, I think there's loads more of choirs.
There are loads. There are a lot. So it's on the 24th to the 27th of November. It's over the four nights, I suppose. Yes. That's right.
4 nights?
Yeah, 4 nights. Starting on the Friday and then finishing up on the Monday. And it's at the Municipal Theatre in Corfu Town.
Oh, we love the municipal, don't we? Adrian
loves the municipal.
Yes,
we love the
fabulous.
municipal
Yes, I
theatre.
do.
Come on, yeah.
It was a great experience there.
Yeah.
Lovely place. Yeah.
And the performances start at 7:30, and the admission is free.
Oh, even better.
Which is amazing. I think that's amazing. Anyway,
actually,
you're going to see a lot of choirs. Maybe there'll be a few Christmas songs in there. You don't know. You never know. Might be.
Probably.
Probably. But from all over the island. I noticed. I was reading through the list, and they're from everywhere, basically. Everywhere is putting in a choir, and it looks like it's going to be a really good show.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Something to look forward. No, Christmas is quite a beautiful time on the island.
Did you know what time
I think
they started?
I did say 7:30.
7:30.
Yeah.
Right.
That's okay.
I didn't hear. Sorry. Going deaf. Old age, you know.
Old age. Sorry, what did you say?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a bit bunged up. My station tubes are a bit
that's
blocked.
nice.
I think that's
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
That's all right. Share it with you any time.
Would you like us to get you an ear trumpet, maybe?
Maybe.
No. Okay.
Might help.
might help.
Bit antisocial, though.
What, an ear trumpet?
Well, yes, you're shouting.
Yeah, only if you play it.
If you played it. Be a bit waxy, wouldn't it?
Oh, dear, no. Wash your ears out. That's what I say.
Waxing lyrical. That's
Good
sorry.
one. No, very good.
Puns are us.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they're you. Very
But
good.
yeah, so that's the 24th to the 27th of November at the Municipal Theatre, 7th Corfu Choir Festival. Performances at 7:30 and admission is free.
Fantastic.
Absolutely amazing. Yes.
Oh, well done.
So,
No, I love the time. I love this time when now all the choirs, because it's winter.
yes.
People stop their summer jobs, the tourism jobs.
Mm.
Now they're back in the choir. They have more gigs going on, and I think we will experience here in the village in Ayers Meadows a few
Choirs.
a few
Yeah.
evenings
Oh.
now. They got two very good choirs here, and there's nearby villages who have very good choirs.
Yeah.
It will be very interesting, very beautiful this Christmas.
We had a little taster of that the other night, didn't we?
We
oh,
did.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
That was nice.
Very melodic.
Very melodic. Yeah.
Even if it did remind us of another tune from bygone era.
Yes, a little bit, but there we go.
Yeah, it was all good fun.
So, but brings me back now. Okay, that's the event we found. So we will find more events. We will
Yes,
get more
of course.
organized. So that's a shout out now to all the promoters and event organizers on
Absolutely.
the island, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Get in contact with us. Let us know about your events, and we can plug them on this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. and
Great.
and what we would love to do is, if there's events where you have ticket money, we would love to get a couple of free tickets so we can give this away to our listeners, to our viewers online, especially expats who live on the island, Greeks who live on the obviously on the island now, to
Yeah.
anybody on the island to join some of the beautiful events, and at the same time we can give him a nice promotional mention here
Exactly.
on Nightshift.
Yes.
That's right. You scratch our back and we'll scratch yours. Metaphorically speaking, obviously.
Metaphorically.
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
Of course. But, I mean, it'd be really good to, be able to plug events for you and, give a good shout out to everybody.
Yes. And we might get to see some of them ourselves, and then we could report on them, and more for the viewer, more content to share with you, the viewer.
That's it.
Why
That'd
not?
be good. Very good.
That would be fantastic. I think, guys, we're nearly on the end of our second show.
Yep.
We spoke again about a lot of things useful.
So what did we actually speak about today? We spoke about the airport, and
Then you found some trees who being planted in Corfu town.
Yes, and
The liberation of Zimbabwe,
liberation of Zimbabwe.
if you can say the liberation or not.
Oh, sorry. Did you say celebration? Yes.
Celebration.
Sorry, I said liberation. That's wrong.
I said liberation
Wrong.
too.
Oh right. Okay. Sorry. Celebration.
Yeah.
And then we talked about Jesse Doe.
Jesse Doe, the fake news.
Jesse Doe.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Fake news.
But
Well,
also a very serious point about depression.
We
because
did,
We really are serious about talking more about that in detail, perhaps on another further programme.
Yep. And then we spoke about Handmade in Corfu, and
we're looking for a kitty's
Little
forever
Kitty.
home.
Yeah.
You came up with a nice event.
Yeah.
We answered some questions about Corfu.
Self-catering, yes.
The self-catering thing. Well, very good. Thank you for the questions, guys.
Yep, thank you,
Thanks
guys.
for taking part. It's fantastic.
Please
Okay.
keep them coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And as we progress with the show, we will get more elaborate. We get more up to date. We get more things. So stay with us. I hope you enjoyed it. Anything else you guys have to say or want to say? Is there anything I missed?
I don't think so.
I don't
Thomas.
think so, Thomas.
No.
No.
But we thrive on your comments at home, and we look forward to being here again tomorrow night to do it all over again.
So we hope to hear from you anyway.
Yes.
So,
Okay. I think we rounded up. It's close to midnight. We wish everybody a good night. Have a fantastic day tomorrow because the weather for the next few days is gorgeous.
yes.
Ah, brilliant.
So go out. It's a gorgeous weather for the next few days. Go out, enjoy the areas a little bit. On Corfu, enjoy a little bit of Greek food. Here we go again.
Talking about food
But
again.
then you can go and have that well-earned Greek winter's walk.
Yes.
Have a good walk along
Yeah,
the beach.
yeah.
Fantastic if you're lucky to be near a beach. But anyway, it's been lovely talking to you all again, guys. And for me, I'll say wish you all the best and Kala Nectar.
And it's a good night from me, and keep smiling.
And the same for me here. It's a good night. Thank you for